When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is.
If you truly want to be successful, then you're going to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can to further your life in the best way possible to make sure you are setting yourself up to be successful in every single chance or opportunity that you're given. So many people just sit by and watch and say they want to go out and accomplish their goals, yet they never make any action to go out and do so. They were just a stand-byer and only say what they want to do, and they never do what they want to do. And more often than not, those are going to be the people that really tear you down, because they're going to say whatever you're doing isn't worth it or it's not possible, because they aren't as motivated as you and they don't understand what it's like to truly want to chase your goals and your dreams. Yes, it is going to suck to hear people say that. It's going to hurt and it's going to sting, but what you got to do is take those comments and use those as fuel and motivation to push you further and make you want to become successful even more, because having the ability to tell somebody that they're wrong because they said you couldn't do it and then you turn out doing it is an incredible feeling, and one that everybody should try to go for. Because when you get motivated and truly determined because there's an naysayers say you can't do it, that's a great feeling. Being able to show them up and show them they're wrong because you were able to do something that they couldn't even think was possible. But that's going to take a long time and a lot of time and energy and tons of hard work and a lot of focus and determination.
You have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it, no big deal, just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So why'd I drop out? It started before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unwed graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college. This was the start in my life. And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane. Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
The thing I would say is, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.
I actually started on the tablet first, and I had this idea of being able to get rid of the keyboard, type on a multi-touch glass display, and I asked our folks, could we come up with a multi-touch display that we could type on, I could rest my hands on and actually type on. And about 6 months later, they called me in and showed me this prototype display, and it was amazing. And I gave it to one of our guys. This was in the early 90s, early 2000s. And I gave it to one of our other really brilliant UI folks, and he called me back a few weeks later, and he had inertial scrolling working and a few other things. Now, we were thinking about building a phone at that time, and when I saw the rubber band, inertial scrolling, and a few of the other things, I thought, my God, we can build a phone out of this. And I put the tablet project on the shelf because the phone was more important. And we went and took the next several years and did the iPhone. And when we got our wind back and thought we could take on something next, pulled the tablet off the shelf, took everything we learned from the phone, and went back to work on the tablet.
Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.